Good morning, my dear children. In the previous session, you have learned about what is polynomial and examples of non-polynomials, degree, value, and zero of a polynomial, and finally, you have learned the some of the sums based on these concepts. Now, in today's session, we are going to learn the types of polynomials and what are the graphs of these types of polynomials. Now, the types of polynomials. The first one here is the linear polynomial. A polynomial of degree 1 is called linear polynomial. Example, 2x plus 3, y, and 5z. Here, the degree of the variable is 1. In all the polynomials, the degree of the variable is 1. So, we say that it is a linear polynomial. Standard form of the linear polynomial is ax plus b. Now, the second one is quadratic polynomial. A polynomial of degree 2 is called quadratic polynomial. Example, x square plus 5x minus 2, 3y square. So these are the two examples of the quadratic polynomials. Here, the degree of the variable, if you observe, it is 2 in both the polynomials. So, these two are known as the quadratic polynomials. The standard form of the quadratic polynomial is ax square plus bx plus c. Now, the cubic polynomial. A polynomial of degree 3 is known as cubic polynomial. Example, x cube minus x square plus 4x minus 2. In this polynomial, the degree of this polynomial is 3, so it is a cubic polynomial. The standard form of the cubic polynomial is ax cube plus bx square plus cx plus d. Now, let us see the graphs of the linear and quadratic polynomials. The graph of the linear polynomial, if you observe here the right hand side, the graph is mentioned there, it is a straight line. That means, let us take one example, x plus 5 is equal to 7, which is a linear polynomial. So if you solve this, x is equal to 7 minus 5, which is 2. So x is equal to 2 means on positive direction on x-axis, you will mark a point on x-axis at 2 and you draw a straight line through the 2. That line represents x plus 5 is equal to 7. That means the graph of the linear polynomial is always a straight line. Now, what about the graph of a quadratic polynomial? You see here that the graph of the quadratic polynomial, if you observe the right hand side graph, it is a U-shaped curve. So graph of the quadratic polynomial is always a U-shaped curve, and the name of this curve is parabola. Parabola. It's very, very important, children. So the name of this U-shaped curve is nothing but parabola. It has two zeros. If you observe here, you see there the degree of this polynomial, quadratic polynomial is 2. So it will have two zeros. The degree of the polynomial is 1. That's why it has only one zero, which is in linear polynomial. So when you see here in the quadratic polynomial, one example is given here, x square minus 2x minus 3. Factorize this polynomial. So x square minus 3x plus 1x minus 3. That is, you have to multiply the coefficients of the first and the last terms. X square coefficient is nothing means 1 and last term is minus 3. Multiply both of them, 1 into minus 3, which is minus 3. So minus 3 can be written in only one way, that is minus 3 into 1, the product is minus 3, and minus 3 plus 1, its value is minus 2. So you split the middle term as x square minus 3x plus 1x minus 3. So in first two terms common is x, that is x into x minus 3, and the next two terms the common is nothing, so that's why you should take it as 1, so plus 1 into x minus 3. Now in both of these two terms x minus 3 is common, so if you take x minus 3 common, x minus 3 into x plus 1. So x is equal to 3 or x is equal to minus 1. So we got two zeros of this quadratic polynomial. So every quadratic polynomial you will have two zeros. Now some other types of the quadratic polynomials. You see here in the previous figure, you have seen that the U-shaped curve, which is only in one direction. That means the positive direction of x-axis, which is mentioned. That means it has only two zeros and both the zeros on the positive direction of x-axis. Now, if you see the second figure, in this figure, the U-shaped curve is covered both negative and positive directions of x-axis. That means in this U-shaped curves has two zeros, but both the zeros are, one is positive x, the other one is negative x. It means the two zeros are negative and positive. When U shape you are getting in this way, both it is covering both negative and positive x-axis. Then you will have one negative x, then one negative zero, and one positive zero. You will get it. But if the U shape is covering only the completely positive direction of x-axis, then you will have both the zeros are positive. Then the U-shaped curve is covering completely the left side of x-axis, that means the negative x-axis. That means that the two zeros are, both the zeros are negative. Now you see here the graph of ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0. It can opens upwards like capital U when if a is greater than 0. That means if a value, the coefficient of x square is positive, then you will get U-shaped curve is upward direction. That means U shape you will get. If the a value, that means x square coefficient, is negative, then you will get the graph in downward direction, that is reverse u. That is, you can say in the sets you have learned, that is intersection, if a is less than 0. Now you see the figure 3. You observe the figure 3. In this figure, if you observe it, the U-shaped curve is intersecting x-axis at only one point. If you see here, that means it has two zeros, but both the zeros are same. Okay, so you might you might have get any doubt in this. You see here, the first graph only the right side of x-axis, but it is intersecting in two places. That's why it will have two zeros, two distinct zeros. In this second figure, the U shape is intersecting x-axis, one side negative, one side positive. So you will have two zeros, one negative and one positive. But when you see the figure 3, the U-shaped curve is intersecting x-axis in positive direction of x-axis at only one point. That means it has two zeros, but both the zeros are same. Example, you see x square minus 6x plus 9 is there. It is exactly in the form of a minus b whole square, that is x minus 3 whole square. So what are the zeros of x minus 3 whole square? You can write x minus 3 whole square as x minus 3 into x minus 3. So the zeros are 3 and 3. Means same one single value, but two times it is repeating. So in such cases, you will get the figure, that is in figure 3, you will get the U-shaped curve like this. Now, these are the three different types of the U-shaped curves which are going to get when you construct the quadratic polynomial in the graph. Because why I have given all these types? Because you have the construction of the quadratic polynomial in this chapter, and which is very important for 4 marks also. Now, the next one is cubic polynomial. It has three zeros. You know that the degree of the cubic polynomial is 3. That is why it will have three zeros. If you observe the graph here, it is just zigzag. The shape of the graph is what? Zigzag. And if you observe the curve, it is intersecting x-axis at three different points. So you will have here, this point is here. If you see, the first point is here, the second point is here, the third point is here. So third point is here. That's why, so the zigzag shaped curve is intersecting x-axis at three different points. So it has three zeros. Children, very, very important point is the curve always touches at x-axis only, because here we have used the variable only x. That's why you will get the graph with respect to x-axis. Now, I think you might have understood the graphs of the linear, quadratic, and the cubic polynomials. Now, the next one is the standard form of a polynomial of degree n. Is very, very important. P of x is equal to a0 x power n plus a1 x and x power n minus 1 plus a2 x power n minus 2 plus etc. plus a n minus 1 x power 1 plus a n x power 0. When you observe here, the a, the coefficients, the coefficient, the suffix 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 is increasing, whereas if you observe here, the powers of x is slowly decreasing. Finally, at the last, the power of x is 0. That means the x power 0, its value, you know that it's 1. That means last term is always the constant term. So, a0 x power n means the first term is term of the power, the degree of the variable x, that is representing the degree of the variable is the first term. Then the last term is only the constant. The remaining, the coefficients and x powers are slowly decreasing manner. Now, any polynomial, just these three are very, very, very important points. You must uh, keep these points in your mind. Any polynomial of degree 1 will have at most 1 0. That means the 0 of the polynomial will be 1. Any polynomial of degree 2 will have 2 zeros. Any polynomial of degree 3 will have 3 zeros. So, my dear children, you might have understood that today's concept, that is the types of polynomials and their degrees of the types of the polynomials, and then the different graphs of these types of polynomials, that is the linear, quadratic, and cubic polynomials. Now, the standard form of a polynomial is very, very important for objective. The standard form of a polynomial of degree n is very, very important for the objective. And the main, the points which you have to remember, that is the degrees of linear, quadratic, and cubic polynomials, as well as the zeros of these three polynomials. Children, so keep all these things in your mind. Once again, if you have any doubts, see the graphs. Once again, you watch the video 2 times, then you can easily understand the graph. Then keep all these points very, very important in your mind, children, so that we can continue the next session. Thank you very much, my dear children. Thank you.